Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Training with Kitty. And recently we had the very jacked, very tanned, very attractive, as all the women in our program were asking if he was single, Damon Hayhow. And today we have the lovely Amy from Recomp HQ. She's a coach there, a female coach, obviously, just as attractive as Damon, but just a female version, nearly as jacked and nearly as tanned. And she's been a coach there for about 7 years. And if you've ever seen her training before, she's an absolute demon. Like, she's 60 kilos. I think, what's your calculated deadlift? Is 200?
Yeah, 200.
At 60 kilos is just insane. What about your bench and your squat?
Let's say I'm working on the squat. It's a work in progress. It's gone up and down over the years. Right now it's down, but bench would be a 90 calculated max.
Amazing. Amazing. I think you squat like 125.
It was, yeah.
Oh,
I neglected it for a bit, but
it's still incredible. And you know, I watch your videos sometimes, and you just have this incredible like fire in you and grit. And the reason I wanted to get you on the show today is because obviously our program is full of women, and I think that, you know, so many women in the fitness industry are so conditioned to, one, they think that they need to do cardio to get, because everyone wants to look toned and athletic. Like that's the body that they want to achieve, but they kill themselves with cardio and they kill themselves training, you know, 6 to 7 days a week. And I think a lot of women too come into our program and they look at some of the numbers in our strength standards and they think, oh God, you know, Kitty, I'll never get there. Like those are so high. And I think that so many of us are, you know, they don't realize their true capability or what they actually can do. And, you know, I think you're a really good example of that, is that you just seem to go into the gym and you've got this like crazy burning fire in you. So, you know, you haven't always been this strong. You didn't just, you know, wake up one day and suddenly you were deadlifting 200. So can you tell the viewers, you know, what were you doing before you started training with Damon? Like how were you training?
typical kind of, you know, focusing on all upper body lifts and kind of neglecting, didn't even know what a deadlift was. So any kind of deadlift or squat movement. Yeah, I was probably doing that for about a year before coming on board with Damon as a client.
And did you train a lot? Like, did you used to train?
Probably four or 5 days a week, and, you know, typical body part per day, but somehow legs didn't really, for whatever reason, it was really bad. Yeah, before that, tried a little bit of running here and there, but
Classes.
Hated it. So
The good old Les Mills classes.
Yeah, and the classes, the body pump, thinking you're lifting weight, but really it's just, you know, broomstick style. Yeah, so not a great deal of experience before being taught what a deadlift is and how to squat and bench and all the rest of it.
And when you first came in to do that initial session with Damon, like, you know, I remember when I met Craig and we were dating initially, and we went to the gym and he's like, show me how you deadlift, show me how you squat. And I did like one rep and he's like, Kitty, put the bar down. And he taught me how to deadlift, he taught me how to squat, and I was like hooked. I was just like, this is amazing. Like, this is just the most incredible feeling, and just seeing myself progress week in, week out and getting stronger. You know, when you did that first session, were you like me? Like, were you hooked? Like, did you just love it? Yeah.
It was like an indescribable feeling. It was terrifying, but you're like, oh God, I just picked that up. And then, you know, a few weeks later, you're able to pick up more that you couldn't pick up weeks prior. And just the way you track everything now as well using the software, it's a really cool feeling to be able to
see that progression.
Yeah.
And did you ever imagine, you know, because we talked about when you first came in with Damon and you did your strength test, and, you know, like your initial numbers are good. Like a lot of the women in our program would be stoked to be even where you were starting at. Did you, you know, you said you deadlifted, nearly got 90 kilos. Did you ever imagine that you would be able to lift a calculated 200 kilo?
Not even like 3 or 4 years ago, if someone said, you know, you'll be there soon, I just laugh at them because. But then it sort of became closer. I was at a 180 calculated max. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get that 200 one day. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm going to keep working towards it. I think if you know, believe that you can do it, you plan for it, and you, like, I've had so many dreams or nightmares, you probably call it, about, like missing a lift or, I don't know, being in this gym where I can't set up properly and I'm out of my whole element, and having that fear is normal, I think. But then, you know, you got to push through that, and I think that's what it's about.
Yeah, well, I think too, it's like realizing, like, how many times did you fail on your way to getting that? Like, you didn't just go, I'm going to deadlift 200 kilo max, you know, calculate max, and you got it, did you?
A calculated max or the actual 200?
The calculator. Like, you didn't just 4 years ago go, oh, I'm going to hit that 200,
no,
and then you did it.
No, I mean, yeah, you've got to fail along the way to learn how to, you know, fix the program to allow yourself to make that progress. Like at the moment, I can't deadlift every week. I need to do it every fortnight, whereas, you know, 5 years ago I could do it every week fine and keep increasing my max. But yeah, you fail a lot along the way, which I'm sure you're you know, familiar with. Yeah.
It's interesting too, you talked about, like, you know, you squat, you know, like was at a certain level and then it's gone backwards, but it's like you haven't given up. You haven't gone, I'm throwing in the towel, I'm never going to fucking squat again. You know, I think, you know, when you adopt this way, like, this is the way that I train, this is what I do now, you know, for the rest of your life, and you play that long game, it's like those little bumps in the road, I think, are all part of, are all part of the process, I guess. And, you know, because progress is never linear. You know, you're going to hit roadblocks. Have you been injured in the past?
Minor. Like,
yeah.
Nothing major yet, touch wood. But yeah, you know, that gets in the way of, you know, you might strain a muscle in your back.
Yeah.
That'll get in the way of lifting for a month properly. But you go, well, only a month out of my life, it's fine. You know, you just work on other things, come back to it. But fearing an injury, that gets in the way of everything. If you're worried about hurting something, then you're probably going to hurt it because you're not, you know, doing everything you should be doing to lift correctly.
I think too, you know, like that's an interesting comment. So I get that from women too. They're like, oh, you know, I'm just so scared of lifting heavy and hurting myself. But if you put the work in, like build the foundation, you know, the breathing, the bracing, you learn how to lift properly. Like, you know, the best deadlift I've done is 207.5, and I've not once hurt my back. Once. The whole time. I mean, I broke my arm, but that was squatting. That was a freak accident. But, you know, it's, I think that's another misconception out there too, that, oh, you're just going to get injured. Obviously, if you do stupid shit, yeah, you know, but yeah, like you said, you've never had any major injuries.
No, and like you said, you build the foundation. It's not like you suddenly load an extra 20 kilos on the bar each week and attempt to lift it. It's very gradual. And if you saw how messy my deadlifts were, yeah, you'd think that I would have injured myself, but I'm used to lifting that way. My back rounds at a certain point.
Yeah.
It's done that from day one. You know, yeah, it's about getting it right with the lighter weight and then progressing up. And you shouldn't be worried about hurting yourself on heavier weight because you can do it on an empty bar, really.
Yeah. And do you, you know, you're a coach at Recomp. Do you train a lot of women?
Yeah, pretty much 95%, I'd say, are all female.
And what do you love about training them?
I train them as if I'm training myself. I try to. I mean,
yeah.
Some, yeah. But, you know, I'll walk them through a set as if that's my set. You know, how to get through a 20 rep set of deadlifts. This is what I do. This is what I think about and whatever. Yeah, and just seeing them like get stoked with lifting a new weight they couldn't lift before. I don't know.
It's very empowering, I think.
Yeah.
I think, you know, like you realize in the gym, like for me, when I would achieve things, I'd think, oh, well, I can do this. I can do anything, you know, and I think the discipline and the structure of lifting and that really flows on if you adopt that in your life. It's the same principles that you adopt in the gym. I think I was listening to, I think it was maybe Craig was listening to a podcast. Who's that guy you like, Craig, the blonde one? Tom Platz. And he was talking about, you know, like he's a bodybuilder and then he moved into the corporate world, and he was talking about how, you know, he was climbing the ladder and he was starting at the bottom, and he was saying how he just applied all the discipline and the work ethic that he learned in bodybuilding to his job, and he climbed the ladder and he did really well in the corporate world. And I think it's so true, you know, if you can go into the gym and those principles you apply, it just really does have a flow on effect into everywhere else. And when you look better, like obviously it's not just about how you look at the expense of everything else, but when you're feeling good and you look and you're strong and you feel good in your skin, like everything. Totally. And actually that was another question I was going to ask you is, so you touched briefly on this, is that how do you prepare yourself? What do you say to yourself in the set? Like when you're like, okay, fuck, I've got to do this like 20 rep set of deadlifts, which is just horrendous. You know, what tips would you give to the women out there in the preparation during the set? Like, how do you approach it? What do you do?
There's a lot of swearing going on, but we won't go into
Oh, we love swearing. You can swear. It's totally fine.
I'm not, see, the guys can get very, like, they're outwardly angry and, you know, fire up. But with me, I think it's just all inside, and it just comes out with lifting, if you know what I mean. I'm not walking around the room yelling and pacing and whatever, but you almost have blinders on and you're just focused on the job you got to do, the numbers you need. I think of it like, I need these reps. I don't want to screw up and waste a week, you know, missing a target. I don't want to walk away from it going, no, you know what, I probably had another couple of reps in me.
Yeah.
Don't want to ever half-ass anything.
Yeah.
But I think once you learn, like when you first started deadlifting, once you know that feeling, you've got to go to this horrible nightmare of a place that's beyond muscle burn. Once you go, okay, it's going to be like that every time, I've just got to accept that. But the more you put yourself into that place, it becomes normal. I don't know if that answers the question, but it's, you know, okay, it's going to hurt like hell, but you just want to get to the end as soon as possible. Like, don't.
So true. But it's also too, it's like, it's such a short time frame. Like, it's like I remember one day I was training with Maddie at Bio, and we're like, let's add up the actual work time of all the training we did. And it was fuck all. And it's like, it's incredible, like how much bang for you buck you get out of such minimal. I mean, it's not minimal work in terms of intensity, like it's hard, but time wise, you know, I used to train for 9 hours a week, probably previous to this. Now I train for 3 hours a week, and I get so much better results, you know. And I think to it, it's like you say, it's learning to harness that inner beast, you know. And sometimes, I don't know, like maybe you have to think about something. I don't know. Do you ever think about anything? Is there anything that triggers you to like?
I mean, you probably, you know, if you're watching another woman or even a guy lifting a lot more than you, if that's in the back of your mind as well, you go, well, if she can do that, I can do this today. I can do more. Like, I don't know, that can help, I suppose.
I really like it. Like, I'm sort of person, if someone tells me I can't do it, I'm like, I've got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, like not a bad one. It's not like bad, like I'm running around going, fuck you. But it's like, you know, I'm like, that's it. I'm going to prove, you know, Craig says I can't do this. I'm like, I'm going to fucking do that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, you know, like, I think, you know, if people tell you that you can't do something, use that to fuel you. Like, use whatever you can to get in there and give it your everything. And, you know, look, I bet you've had sessions too where you haven't gone into the gym every single time and always hit your targets every single time, have you?
No.
So did you quit?
The hell no.
No.
I went, hey, today
Yeah.
felt like crap for the rest of the day because I'm like, I missed it. And if it was for usually it's for some reason, like your back's out, you need an adjustment, or you're tired,
Yeah.
you slept enough, and you try and say, well, it's because of that, it's okay. But I'm still going, that was crap. You messed up. Feel like crap for the rest of the day, but then you wake up tomorrow and go, okay, well, it's all right. I'll get it next week.
Yeah. Because there's always another session.
That's right. It's not the end
Yeah.
of the world. One session that you didn't quite get right. If you dwell on that too much and think, oh, you're just going to fail again because you failed last week. That's not going to help.
Oh, totally. And I think that's a lot of women too. Like I see that in the program sometimes is they'll get the shits. They'll be like, oh, fuck, I didn't hit my numbers. I'm like, yeah, but look at some other reason. Like, you know, you and I don't have kids. So like, you know, we don't have any kids waking us up in the middle of the night, but sometimes there's shit's going to happen in your life. Like there's a lot of mums in our programs. They're not going to have a good sleep. You can't go into the gym and give your best performance if you're not rested. So I think sometimes it's either you don't train or you go in, you do the best that you can and you move forward. And you're like, that's what I love about lifting is because there is always another session. There is always another day. You know, it's the long game. And, you know, I think that it's these little ups and downs like that that actually make you stronger. If something beats you or if you get an injury, if you don't give up and you persist and you keep pushing through, like you'll always succeed. You will eventually. You know, and I think that that's so powerful too. And I see it so much, and you would see it too with the women that you train, that it just, I think this outer strength, it gives you inner strength too, I think, you know? Yeah. And you're pretty lean as well. Like you're in absolutely fantastic, amazing condition. And how often do you train?
It's 4 days, but I've got 2 kind of big heavy days and 2 are very light, just because I like training.
Yeah.
3, but I do 4, and they're not 4 intense all out.
Yeah, because you can't do that.
I go all out, but on the heavier days I've got 3 lifts.
Yeah.
On lighter days, it's not a big compound lift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to be able to recover properly and keep hitting those PBs, you know. If you're training every day, you can't perform at 100%. You need, you know, there might be 1 or 2 big lifts that you're focusing on in a program. That's it. Otherwise, you hit a wall.
And I think that that's important too. It's like listening to your body. You know, it's like, I think when you've been training for a while, like I'll always know too, like I just feel fucked. Like if I've been, you know, if I need to have a rest and I'll go back and train, I won't hit the numbers, or my sleep, I actually start to not sleep very well. And then I'm like, oh, you need to have a break, Kitty. You have a few more days off, you know, and yeah. But I think women are so conditioned to just be training every day.
Yeah. The training probably isn't sufficient if you can train every day.
Nailed it.
Although, you know, I think I've done 2 5-day-a-week programs ever. But they're, you know, you go in and do 1 set. Like it was structured in such a way that you're not going to burn out. But
yeah,
for whatever reason, can't remember why I did that. But the volume was much lower.
Yeah.
And it was still structured in the way I said my program is at the moment, where you do your 2 big heavy compound lifts and the rest is, you know, lighter machine exercises, dumbbells, whatever.
The other thing too, it's like, you know, you say you like to train. I like to train too, but fuck, I don't have time to be spending like, you know, 3 days. That's all. Like I'm too busy doing anything else. And even the mums in our program, I'm like, they are even more busy than I am. And I think they probably, like a lot of women will come in initially and go, oh God, you know, I'm so used to training every day and I want to do shit every day. And then after a while, they're like, oh fuck yeah, only 3 days a week of training. This is so good. Like I've just got so much time back to just do life. You know, I'm not thinking, oh fuck, if I miss, you know, I'm not training 6 days a week, I'm not going to get a result. And you actually, in fact, get better results.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple of clients in that position. They came to me and they were training 5-6 days a week, knocked it down to 2 with me initially in the first month, just 2. That was hard to get their head around because a lot of people feel like they need to be constantly doing something, moving. But actually, the clients who have gotten the best results just train 2 days a week with me, and that's the ones that train on their own might need 3. But yeah, you're right. You drop it down to 3, and you've got so much time to recover and focus on other things in life.
Yeah. Not just spending, like, I like training. I do like training, but it's like, oh, so like now, because I think to myself, oh, can't even imagine going back and training like 5 days a week now, 6 days. Like, it would just, even sometimes 3 days, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm so busy. Like, but I make myself go, obviously, because I do enjoy it and I want the result. But, you know, I think, yeah, it's just, there is just so many benefits to strength training and being strong. You know, you're not only going to look better, you're going to feel better, you're going to have to train less, and you are going to maintain a better physique without doing cardio. You know, so no, well, that's really awesome. Is there anything else that you'd want to add? Any other tips for the women of how to unleash the beast in the gym?
There was something I was thinking about before, now it's completely left me. You know,
Kitty's been crapping on too much.
No, it's all right. It'll come if I think of something, we can add it in. So.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Well, I really appreciate you jumping on today. I know you're super busy, just saving the fitness industry one woman at a time from all the cardio and the dumb diets. Keep inspiring me to be stronger. You're like 10. Everyone who's listening to this, Amy's like 10 kilos lighter than me, and all her lifts are better than mine. So she's very, very inspiring. So you've inspired me to be a bit more focused on my training again. And I said to Damon, I'm going to get that deadlift back over 200. It's happening. It's in process right now. Got to get that squat better. Got to get 100 kilo bench. I want to get. It's in the bank. It's in the kitty bank. Might take a long time. But like you say, it's like if you play the long game and you put it in there and you believe, and I totally believe I can do it, it'll happen eventually. And don't give up. You got to, just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And you won't regret it, ladies. Like, you will not regret persisting. But what you will regret is continuing to do the same shit day in, day out, being fat, being miserable, looking in the mirror and hating yourself. Because you will. Trust me. You don't want to look back in 10 years' time and go, fuck, I wish I did that. Because if you invested a couple of years now, like, you'll be looking amazing and you'll be strong, and you'll only be having to train 3 days a week, and you'll be able to eat more food as well. And that's another bonus of being strong, is that you can eat more food and you can stay leaner, which is always a bonus because I love eating. So, well, that was awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today. Have a great day, and keep posting up those videos to inspire me.
I will. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll keep working on that squat too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the goal for the squat?
To get back where it was initially.
125?
Yeah, I'm using the safety bar at the moment because the barbell just screwed everything up on the shoulders. So
I love the safety bar.
Learn how to push through that using that bar. But build it up.
All right. I'm holding you to 125 safety bar squat. That'd be pretty fucking good. 125 safety bar.
It should be a lot more than that, but know.
You're only 60 kilos. It's amazing. You're amazing.
Still, 10 years of training at least and more.
But when we'll be 80 and we'll be lifting.
Oh yeah.
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 Big Jack Tan grannies. All right, awesome. I'll let you go because I know you got to run. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
All right, will do.
Bye.
Bye.